Thank you once again for tuning in 28 days with 28 featured guests celebrating our history, our heritage, our culture, and our stories. And today we have the distinct honor of introducing Toni Crawford Major. Welcome to the set.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for having me.
Well, Toni, give us a little background on who you are. You look like a very distinguished woman.
Oh, thank you. It takes practice. But I'm originally from Denver, Colorado, as you know. The irony of us shooting today in Villanova is that this is where I wanted to go to college. But my father wanted me to stay in Colorado. And I ended up going to University of Colorado. And then many, many years later, bringing Coors beer to the Philadelphia market. And I now live literally 10 minutes from Villanova.
That's ironic. Now, I know you're world traveled. So being a woman, one, and being a black woman, two, how have you navigated the multicultural environments that you found yourself in?
I'm going to tell you that, first of all, it was a true blessing to grow up in Denver, Colorado. Because the only thing that distinguished people primarily was their socioeconomic status, right? So if you were well educated, and you worked hard and did everything you're supposed to do, you had access to almost anything and anybody. Just the way it was. Then, of course, as you well know, I was a professional model. I, danced around, not dance, I worked around the country and danced. And actually ended up working for 3 years in Italy as a professional model. And then came back to the States and went to corporate America because I had a little daughter that I had to take care of. And so I was fortunate to land positions at Xerox, the best training in the entire country at the time. Became a stockbroker with Merrill Lynch. And navigated east, again, opening the markets for Coors beer. And became in Philadelphia in 1988. And as they say, you get stuck. I got stuck. But it's been a good thing. It hasn't been a bad thing.
Well, I like to get to that point on Italy. How did you navigate that kind of culture? I mean, what was the experience as far as, modeling and dancing?
Dancing in the clubs, right? Well, the Italians are extremely friendly people. And you can't go wrong anytime you're sitting down and breaking bread with people, right? And, the idea that you have 2 or 3 hours to eat instead of having to eat an hour. There's a lot of time to talk and get to know each other personally. I was married to a professional athlete at the time, and he played over there at the same time that I worked over there as a model. So the Italians were great. They were gracious. I learned the language. I worked with one of his players who taught me Italian. I taught him English, and it worked really, really well. So I'm going to say probably the biggest culture shock I've had, though, in my life has been moving to Philadelphia.
Whoa. Yeah. A basketball wife with a culture shock. Can we expound on that? Original basketball wife.
Yeah, we were. Although we were a little different. We behaved a little bit differently,
So what shocks you most coming east from being out west?
Well, I'm going to specifically say Philadelphia and Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania,
And the reason why is because what I learned when I moved here was a distinct phenomena that most people in Pennsylvania don't leave. If they do leave, they come back, and they move within a 5-mile radius of where they grew up. So Pennsylvania has the most native sons and daughters of any other state in the country. What that does is that creates a cohesive and closed environment that doesn't necessarily welcome or invite visitors. I remember my first Thanksgiving here, and I was working, so I was very busy and et cetera. Had met some great people, but no one invited me to Thanksgiving dinner. Well, where I'm from, if anybody comes into Colorado, you're new, you don't know anyone, come to dinner, Now, that's not necessarily a slight on people. It's just the reality. So when people say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, I say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Because it does require you to understand the neighborhood environments. It requires you to be able to move and flow with them, and also to just get to know who they are. And once you do that, once you build trust, then it becomes a very distinctive cultural environment of, mixes of cultures, the Cubans, the Puerto Ricans, the Puerto Ricanas, then you have, the Africans, and you have, and then you have the African Americans, and you have Irish, you have the rich Italian culture, and which is why I'm still here. Because I get to experience all of that in one place.
Well, oh my goodness, I can't believe we're out of town. But listen, I really appreciate you tuning in to 28 Days with 28 featured guests. And as promised, we're celebrating our history, our culture, and the stories that you are very compelling. I ask you to tune in every day because we promise to bring back someone distinguished again. And we thank you once again for Tony for coming in and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Have a great day.